Hey folks, welcome to Rogue One Radio. We are on video now. We're trying this one out for the first time. This is episode number 28. Yes, 28.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, me here, Steve, with Charlie. And we're going to see how this video thing goes. We've got our news segment coming up. We have our top 5 list coming up toward the end of the show. And then, of course, we have our recap of the Mandalorian Chapter 14, The Tragedy. So what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, work, and more work, really. I haven't quite felt 100% this past week, so I just kind of been taking it easy. Like today, I had a project that was due in 2 weeks, and then they called me and said, you know what, hey, something came up. We need to change that. We need it by the end of the day. And I still had several hours of work on it, but I skipped lunch, worked straight through, and finally got it in. Hopefully, I got it in on time. Hopefully, it's under budget, and they'll be happy and keep me around. But yeah, haven't done not much reading time. Not much video game time. Just keeping it low and trying to take in as much Star Wars as I can.
Absolutely. So have you been able to finish your audiobook listening of Aftermath?
I have not yet.
You haven't got that finished. Okay.
Normally on a nice peaceful day, I can do that. But as you could see, in fact, I posted on Twitter that I was listening to some Avenged Sevenfold to get me motivated and hyped up in order to meet this new deadline. So
great. So I've been doing a little bit of reading. Well, I say reading. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks lately. I don't remember what I read last time we met. I may have started Inferno Squad.
Yeah, it was whatever you had. Man. No, because you just finished Inferno Squad, right?
Okay, so yeah, I finished Inferno Squad. I also finished Thrawn Alliances recently. I just finished that one a few days ago. And then I started listening to the audiobook of Resistance Reborn. Over the past weekend, I actually rewatched both The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So I just kind of wanted to get the in-between stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening to Resistance Reborn, and I think I'm probably about 3/4 of the way done. But in addition, I am also still reading From a Certain Point of View, Empire Strikes Back, and I'm probably a little over halfway done with that. I'm really enjoying that. As far as video games, let's see. I was playing Assassin's Creed 2, but I ended up a few weeks ago. I had downloaded Watch Dogs 2, so I actually started that last night. So I've been playing Watch Dogs 2, and I'm liking that. So
I was going to say, what do you think of the difference? Because there was quite a big difference between Watch Dogs 1 and 2.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is a little less wonky as far as the gameplay goes. The driving is actually a little bit easier than it was in Watch Dogs 1. but I haven't gotten terribly far into it. I started with the main story, and then I got sidetracked and started doing a bunch of the side missions. So I haven't got really far into that, but yeah, I'm liking that game so far.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my week. Now, as far as before we jump into anything else, I wanted to let people know where they can find us on the old social medias. So if you want to find us on Twitter or Instagram, you just go to Rogue numeral 1 radio. It's right here in the video. And also Rogue number 1 radio is where you can find us on Facebook as well. So we've got our news segment coming up, but we are going to first jump into our first music segment. And we've never done this before with the video, so we're going to hope that this goes well. This is a song by a gentleman by the name of Nathan Gray. He put out an album back in January called Working Title. And this is a song from that album, and it's called In My Defense. So let's see how this works. Sorry about that, folks. Actually, I didn't share it properly, so I'm going to try that again. Give me just a second here, and technical difficulties and whatnot. I found a brand new direction when I got back from the boat. Beyond the walls and distractions, free and moving alone. Through the dark days and the light, I'll take them home. I found a brand new direction when I got back from the boat. Because freedom is the mercy you give to yourself when you stumble and then rise up 10 times stronger than you fell. Yeah, I know when they're perfect, but I don't need to beg. I'm a work in progress, indefinitely. I'm a work in progress, indefinitely. I found a brand new direction when I shook off from the war. Started my own insurrection, active rebellion reborn. Through the dark days and the light, I'll take them on. I found a brand new direction when I should go from the war. Because freedom is a mercy you give to yourself when you stumble and then rise up 10 times stronger than you fell. Yeah, I know when they're perfect, but I don't need to beg. I'm a work in progress, indefinitely. I'm a work in progress.
In my defense, I've been searching for answers, for questions all around. In my defense, I've been getting up better and picking myself off the ground. 'Cause freedom is the mercy you give to yourself. When you stumble and then rise up 10 times stronger than you fell. Yeah, I know we're imperfect, but I don't need to be. I'm a work in progress, indefinitely. I'm a work in progress. In my defense, I've been searching for answers, for questions all around. In my defense, I've been getting much better at picking myself off the ground. In my defense.
All right, that was Nathan Gray with In My Defense from his most recent full-length album, Working Title. Hope you enjoyed that one. But we're back here on Rogue One Radio. We're episode 28. And we are going to go through our little news segment now.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get things started off if you want to start us off there.
Sure, yeah. Well, it was kind of crazy because at first this week we thought, man, this is a slow news week. And as we started pulling things together, they just started like, well, here's that. Oh, wow, here's this. And next thing you know, we got a whole page full of news. So leading off tonight, we have some news on Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights is a game that is being developed by WB Games Montreal. It's scheduled for a release in 2021 on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, the S, Xbox One, and PC. This seems to be in the vein of... I'm thinking it looks a lot like the Mortal Kombat series that they did, or the Injustice series, but that it is going to be like a fully open world. So you're going to get those type of characters and that type of action into a fully open world of Gotham. And that just absolutely looks amazing. I really love the sound of it. The characters that they had mentioned, Red Hood, the Nightwing, Batgirl, the other things of Robin, Mr. Freeze, the Court of Owls. It all look to be like playable characters in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm so excited for this game. I love some DC fighting games. And with it being open world, oh man.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So next up, we actually have a confirmation that Haley Steinfeld is going to be playing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. This series is currently filming. Last we checked, at least according to comingsoon.net, they are recording or shooting rather in Brooklyn. And as of course, you know, Clinton Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, is the main character. And then we'll have Kate Bishop from the comics. So that's looking really, really exciting. This is one of the Marvel shows for Disney Plus that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I really like the Hawkeye character.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely, man, it just makes me wonder how long Hawkeye is going to be around for this Disney Plus series. Is this going to be, is he going to just, be in the first season? They'll hand the reins off, or what? I know that at least in the movies, he even contemplates retiring several times to be with his family, so. Man, but they got a great person to. I think she would fit that part very well. So excited for this.
Yeah. But that's not the only Marvel news that we've got coming.
Oh man, no, it's not. And I just saw this today. I'm not sure if it was posted on there previously, but I think this is fairly recent news as of at least this morning, according to Variety, that Alfred Molina is going to reprise his role as Doc Ock in the next Spider-Man 3 movie. And wow, one of the main redeeming qualities of Spider-Man 2 with the Sam Raimi series, Tobey Maguire, was Alfred Molina's portrayal of Doc Ock. So I'm excited to see how they're going to bring him in. What do you think about that one?
Man, I have to say that I think that 2 was probably, number 2 was definitely worlds better than number 3. A lot of that, I think, had to do with the Dr. Octopus character. Because as far as Spider-Man villains go, he is probably pretty high up there, if not one, at least 2 or 3 for favorite Spider-Man villains. So it'll be good to see. I'd be interested to see how they're going to incorporate this into the current iteration of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they're getting Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2 with the Tobey Maguire, and they also have Electro being played by Jamie Foxx, who is in the Andrew Garfield iteration of Spider-Man. In fact, that was even in Spider-Man 2. So, it's going to be really cool to see how they're going to do this. Maybe they'll pull into the Spider-Verse, and you might even see some Miles Morales in there. So who knows?
Possibility. Definitely.
Yeah.
So next piece of news, one of the most popular role-playing Star Wars games out there is going to be getting a re-release on mobile. That game is Knights of the Old Republic. I'm sorry. Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. So you'll be able to play the game on your iPhone, your Android, your iPad, and any of those type of devices. And the storyline is the same. It's just been kind of optimized for being able to play on mobile devices. Interestingly enough, I did play Knights of the Old Republic 1. I never actually played Knights of the Old Republic 2. I never got around to playing that. And up until now, I haven't really had an opportunity because I did not have a console that would work for it. But I've got an iPad and an iPhone, so now I can play it.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember playing it many, many years ago. In fact, I believe it was made available on the Xbox Gamer Pass with you, so you could get 1 and 2. I did make it through the first one, but of course, life got in the way, and I never went back and played the second one. But that's going to be awesome because it was a great game. I loved the storyline to it. It was absolutely amazing.
Cool. So we've got some more Star Wars news.
Oh man. And this one is kind of special. possibly due to some future events, which I won't go into too much detail yet. But Lucasfilm has announced the next novel for adults in the High Republic series. Its title is The Rising Storm, and it's written by Cavan Scott. Cavan Scott has written a lot of Star Wars media, whether it be comics or novels such as Dooku or some of the Jedi adventure books. So he's not a stranger to our universe, and man, I'm really excited about this. I love his writing style. So yeah, and that's going to be released on July 6th of 2021.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm so looking forward to this new era that they're going to be exploring. Of course, the first novel comes out on January 5th. Or wait a minute, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the Charles Soule Light of the Jedi. And then also Justina Ireland's young adult novel, A Test of Courage. And then the High Republic comic book series. So, which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that also written by Mr. Scott?
I believe they've. I think there's a few of them that are included in that. I believe he's doing at least one, and I think other people are doing some as well.
Okay. I thought that was gotcha. I thought that was just him doing that one. He is at least writing the first one.
Mm-hmm.
At least the first issue, we know that, and possibly the second. At least as far as the main comic book series goes, there's going to be some other ones, but yeah, it's gonna be the main one. He'll be starting off. Another piece of Star Wars news that we've got is regarding a Disney Plus series based on, and we've talked about this before on the show, but the series based on the character Cassian Andor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, for one, of course, really looking forward to that. Diego Luna is coming back. But the news regarding said Cassian Andor series is that it has begun filming. The principal photography has begun. So it was delayed quite a bit because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that it started filming. Obviously, we know it's a prequel to Rogue One. It is a mini series.
Mm-hmm.
And we know a few things about it. We know that Alan Tudyk is going to be returning as K2SO.
Yes.
And we've got a brief list of actors that are coming, but not who they are in the show. And we do not, as of yet, have a premiere date. But we do know that it's filming, and I am very excited about this show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So some more news that we have in the Star Wars universe is that we could be getting some very interesting news this coming Thursday, which is the 10th of December.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember where. This is on Star Wars Newsnet.
Yes.
And they were talking about that they could announce possibly the lineup of movies and Disney Plus series that could be coming out this Thursday. There's so much talk about possible future movies that were Benioff and Weiss were supposed to do some. Ryan Johnson was supposed to get another trilogy, possibly, and that directors have been shifted around. Could we possibly get news that makes Solo 2 happen? Let's hope. But and then of course the Disney Plus side of things with we just heard about the Cassian Andor series and the Kenobi series, and Mandalorian's already in pre-production for season 3, and they're also doing the some of the other series that they could do in Bad Batch and whatnot. So our plate is full as Star Wars fans, and man, I cannot wait to feast.
It is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. There's so much content coming.
Yes.
And speaking of new Star Wars content, this could be part of the announcement that they make on the 10th, if that happens, is that we might be getting an animated series based on the High Republic. So the reports coming from the Illuma Nerd Eye are saying that the High Republic era will be captured in an animated fashion. So if you are looking forward to all things High Republic, this is definitely up your alley. And I don't know about you, Charlie, but I am definitely on the High Republic bandwagon and ready for this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a corner of the universe that we haven't explored before. I did a show not too long ago about like the Star Wars timeline, and there was little to no information of what happened then. Everything started right at around Phantom Menace, and now we're starting to, draw back that veil and catch a glimpse of this amazing universe and its past, and then hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of its future as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more about that. I think that's it. I think that's all our news for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's play another song.
Yeah, let's play another song. We've got our Mandalorian recap coming up, but we're gonna go ahead and play another song. This one is by a band from Chicago. They just put out an album in let's see, when was this one put out? This one's put out in February. I'm going to butcher the title because it's in French and I don't speak French. But the title of the album is Le Feu et le Sable, which, if I am correct, if Google Translate is correct, that is fuel and sand. So the song we're going to play is King of Prussia by Airstream Futures. So here you go. I hope you enjoy.
If you're walking out alone, you're just skin and bones. And if your sycophants aren't putting on a show, no one knows you're on the throne. Hey! Oh, did I disrespect you when I did not attend you? I never meant to. I'm sorry, not sorry, baby. Oh, should I have knelt down? Put my lips on your ground. Oh, I don't think I know how sorry, not sorry, baby. All the A-list and chauvinists, baby, I'm over it. I don't care disrespect you when I did not attend you. I never meant to. I'm sorry, not sorry, baby. Oh, should I have knelt down? Put my lips on your ground. Oh, I don't think I know how sorry, not sorry, baby. It takes a village to bow. It takes a village to bow. It takes a village to bow. We are the village. Oh, to bring you down. Oh, did I disrespect you when I did not attend you? I never meant to. I'm sorry, not sorry, baby. Oh, should I have knelt down? Put my lips on your ground. Oh, I don't think I know how sorry, not sorry, baby. Oh, did I disrespect you when I did not attend you? I never meant to. I'm sorry, not sorry, baby. Oh, I don't think I know. I don't think I know how sorry, not sorry, baby. Sorry, not sorry, baby.
Right. That was King of Prussia by Airstream Futures.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good band. That's a really good album. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that one, definitely get out and check that one out. But it is now that time. We are going to talk about chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, The Tragedy. All right. Initial reactions.
Redeeming, I would say, it would be the first word that comes to mind. And I'm sure we'll get into that in just a minute. It was a very good episode. I kind of saw where it was heading. I just didn't think that they would get there as fast as they did. But overall, very good episode.
Yes, absolutely. I have quite the fond feelings of this episode for various reasons. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in? Why don't you go ahead and do the plot synopsis for us?
Oh man, plot synopsis. Okay, well, what I thought was going to take a lot longer to do, we see Mando heading right off to the planet Tython, and I thought that this would be something that we'd see at the last episode, but they wasted no time. They jetted straight away for it, and he gets out there and puts Grogu on the rock where he's supposed to go, and tries to find that little magic button, and can't quite figure it out. Walks around it a couple of times, and and sees a ship land there, not too far off in the distance. And when we see the ship land, such a blast of nostalgia.
Oh man.
And the Slave One comes into view, and my immediate thoughts were, I used to have that Slave One ship back when I guess it was Empire. I think it was Empire came out that they released that the first time. And man, I wore mine out, and to see it back again in film was absolutely amazing. So
Keep going.
So we get Grogu finally figures out how to turn on the device, and and Mando can't get to him because of this force field that is surrounding the child, despite his best efforts to try to get him. So he goes off to take care of business himself. And as he makes his way down, oh, there it is, folks. Oh, wow. Yes, sir.
With Boba Fett included.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's awesome. So he goes down, and, and we see Boba, and then we see another mysterious character that we haven't seen since season 1. And it's Fennec Shand. Yeah. And somehow she has made it back, and we get some iconic dialogue between the characters. And then, of course, the Imperials are hot on their heels because of the unknown tracking device that is on the Razor Crest. Yeah. And so they start to cause some trouble. After a fairly lengthy battle sequence, we see that the 3 anti-hero heroes come together, and they go back to try to get the child. But the Dark Troopers, I guess, I was thinking droids, but they're called into action. They managed to squander off the child, and we see that he is in the clutches of Moff Gideon. The child then has his way with a few of the stormtroopers, and Gideon taunts him, and they send off for Dr. Pressing. So that is a brief synopsis of it. There are a few big surprises and that we see that I'm sure we'll get to here just shortly.
Yeah, definitely. So, going a little bit more in depth on our reactions. First of all, I was a little surprised that we got to Tython so early in the season. Mm-hmm. Now, I say so early in the season. We've only got 2 seasons now left, but I really thought it was going to take place later in the season. I'm glad that we got to see Tython. I like the visual of it. Mm-hmm. I like how they portrayed it. Now, Tython, my first reference to Tython was from the MMORPG Star Wars: The Old Republic. Mm-hmm. It definitely has some nostalgic feel to it, but it also makes a brief appearance in the Dr. Aphra comic book series.
Yes.
I think we talked about last week. So I wasn't sure how they were going to portray the planet, but I think the little bit of it we saw was definitely good. I like mm-hmm. how it looks. But moving on to the biggest surprise, I know you and I probably don't see completely eye to eye on this, but one of my favorite characters in the universe has always been Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. Yes, based on a conversation you and I had earlier, yes, he did get knocked into the Sarlacc by a blind man, but that's Han Solo. But yeah, Boba Fett's always been a favorite of mine. And a few episodes ago, when he was on, when Mando was on Tatooine, and we got to see that 30-second glimpse, or not even 30-second, but that short glimpse of Boba in the sands of Tatooine. I was really excited about that, and now we get him in all his glory. We get to see the Boba Fett that we deserve.
And I agree with you. I still think it's funny that he got bested by a blind guy with a boat paddle. But even before then, he had the reputation. We just didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
He was extremely feared in the galaxy. He was the number one bounty hunter. I wasn't sure if we were going to get to see any of that. My hope was maybe possibly in like Solo 2, if they were to do that, then they could touch on the greatness, what made him so iconic and so great. But the glimpse that we see of him now as an older man, and the way he put it on, yes, it was stormtroopers, but the way that he just dealt out devastation with that gaffy stick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's something else was, we've heard of, Luke talk about the gaffy sticks, in A New Hope, and, but we didn't know what they did or what they were. And then to see what a formidable weapon that it is with somebody that is trained with it, he decimated those troopers.
Yes.
So I was very happy to see that. I still think, regardless of whether or not Boba deserves the the fame that he has, when I saw Slave One come across the screen and I knew it was coming, I immediately transported back to childhood and was like, all right, now we're in for it. Let's see what we're going to get now. And man, Favreau and Filoni did not disappoint.
Yeah, when that, the first couple of minutes into the episode, and that Slave One showed up, I stood up in my seat. I was like, oh yeah, here it comes. And then we get to see him in the armor.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible thing ever.
My first thought when he fastens on the armor was actually a flashback to Rise of Skywalker. Force Awakens. When Han Solo gets back on the Millennium Falcon and says, "Chewie, we're home."
Yes.
And I was like, that's got to be, what he felt like when he finally gets that armor and puts it back on.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back. And so, yeah, Boba Fett being in there was definitely a high point. And even more so after everything is said and done, he's going to hang out with Din Djarin to help him rescue the baby. So, he's not this horrible person. He's got a code.
Yes.
And we never get to see that because, in the movies, we got so little of him anyway. But it was great. And then you get the scene where he shows them the chain code and shows them where he got his armor. And then, man, that line, your father was a foundling. I was like, oh my gosh.
There was so much, and I'm trying to look where I had it written down. Where'd it go? Come on. It's the chain code, what it actually says, and it reads vertically. It says, Foundling took into the year Concord Dawn, Mentor Foster, Father Fett, Boba Fett.
Right.
And this is something that that has been debated on fairly regularly, because we never really got too much information, and kind of misleading information depending on which encyclopedia, Star Wars encyclopedia that you read, whether or not the Jango and Boba were actually Mandalorian. Because some say that they were, some said that they weren't, some said that they were a foundling, but it's confirmed in this series that were Mandalorian, that Jango fought in the Mandalorian Civil War.
Yeah.
And, so that question has been answered, which was a surprise for me, that yes, indeed, Jango was a Mandalorian. And so is Boba. And that not only do they have a little bit of history, they have a rich history.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really great to see that. And that line that he delivers about Jango being a foundling, that was amazing. But I really like the idea that they're going to kind of pair these guys up. So we may be seeing more Boba for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and that no objections there after seeing him in action. Yeah, bring him on.
Absolutely. But not only do we get to see Boba again, but as you mentioned, we get to see Fennec again, who is a character that we didn't get enough of in the last season. We got to find out what happened to her, and we get to see her in action a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say that for me, this was possibly, and I say disappointment in the loosest of ways that I could. I was glad to see her. I just really thought that when we saw Boba again, we were going to get more Cobb Vanth. And they were on the same planet together. So, I mean, especially the way that the fan base reacted when Cobb Vanth came out, I was like, oh man, there's somebody with him. Oh, it's got to be Cobb Vanth. And then it ends up being Fennec, which I was glad for. It's a great character. It was totally unexpected and almost a little disappointing, just because I had my own headcanon that was getting in the way. But I love the explanation. I'm trying. I had the words at the tip of my tongue. I had it written down as well. Where'd it go? Where he talks about her laying in the sands, and that something, fate had intervened, and the way that kind of goes with the code that he saved her. Now she's helping him. Din Djarin got his armor and gave it back to him, and so now he's honor bound to help Din get the child back. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That was great. So it ends, of course, with the Dark Troopers taking Grogu, and then we get to see Grogu play around with some stormtroopers, and that was amusing. Then we get to see the Darksaber again, and we see Moff Gideon talking to the child as if he were a child. And so that was a fun little interaction. So now we just got to where are we going now? What you mentioned a little bit of a disappointment. Was there anything else to you that was disappointing about this episode?
The absolute, complete, and utter destruction of the Razor Crest.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
As big of I mean, I'd say that as of right now, if you were to take a poll, say on Star Wars Twitter, which we frequent, the Razor Crest is probably number 2 spacecraft behind Millennium Falcon as far as popularity.
Yeah.
And to with one blast have it absolutely obliterated. I thought that was shocked. I was the only way that I can kind of rationalize it is that from the Rise of Skywalker, when they have all the ships appear, I've gone over that image so many times. It looks like that there is a Razor Crest there. So I'm hopeful that somehow he either gets another ship that's identical to it or they're close to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that was a big shock.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see that. The only other thing I can think of that could be even construed as a disappointment is maybe the episode wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
I think I would have maybe liked to have seen them explore the planet a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, between Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and in this case, Robert Rodriguez, they're doing what they did for a reason. I think they're priming us for the last 2 episodes being pretty epic in the same vein that they did last season. Those last 2 episodes were just phenomenal.
Right.
So to see what are they going to do to top themselves in these last 2 episodes, and I've just got goosebumps thinking about it.
I mean, you know me, and I'm full of wild theories, but we know that in this next one they have to be going after Bill Burr's character, the sharpshooter. Yes, Mayfield. Which would be great to see him again because I love that character. Big fan of Bill Burr anyway. We're from the same area originally, so every time I hear him speak, it reminds me of home. He's got that thick New England accent. Man, to see Kara, just kind of kicking back, and it looks like that she's now gone straight since she has she picked up the medallion. I think that we'll probably get, this will be a rescue mission. I think that Kara will probably send word to Bo-Katan somehow, because I think that will be the very final piece, is a large battle with Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon. I think Mando will give Bo the spear so she could battle Gideon with the Darksaber. Forgive me, little baby Yoda in this one here, but I think he will be lost for this episode, for this season coming up. I think that Gideon will relinquish the Darksaber, but take the child. And then that will bring on season 3, where they are trying to recover the child.
So that does bring up a question I have about the final episode of this season. And would you care to speculate? So last episode of the season, we get the Darksaber.
Mm-hmm.
Just this like, oh my God moment in the last few seconds of that last episode. Would you care to speculate what that OMG moment is going to be at the end of the season?
I think we're going to get a Jedi. Another Jedi.
That's what I think too. Now, who is that going to be? I don't know. I don't even want to go there because there's so many different options. But if I were to have my wish, I personally would love for it to be Mace Windu.
That's one of the top, I think, 3 that are in my headspace. I think that they could do Mace very well. I think if they wanted to, they could tie in the Fallen Order games and bring in Cal Kestis, because the actor that was doing it was on Gotham, and they're no longer doing Gotham. So I'm not sure what his workload is right now, but if they wanted to, they could tie that in. My other one that I think that we could possibly get, and this is just a rumor, is we could get a Luke Skywalker.
So, to me, Luke Skywalker would kind of be the one that would make the most sense.
And if the rumor mill is correct, I've heard that, and of course this is just rumor, that they are in talks with Sebastian Stan to do that, because they don't want to necessarily de-age Mark Hamill. One, that would cost a lot of money to do that, but I think that Sebastian Stan would do a great job as a Jedi, even in short term.
And really, they only need him for like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
they could have a shot coming in from his back, and then they just kind of slowly turn to his face for just a second.
Yeah,
just enough to say, this is Luke Skywalker. So that would be a good way to do it. If, like I said, Mace Windu would be great. Mm-hmm. But if we can't get him, my second choice would actually be Cal Kestis. But all that being said, Luke Skywalker would make the most sense. But yeah, so I
don't know. I'm excited for it. I was very I wasn't sure what we were going to get. Like I said, a lot of the things that happened, I thought would happen either in this episode coming up or the last one. So now I'm just basically grasping at straws, and my overactive Star Wars imagination is in full force, which is never a bad thing.
So any final thoughts on the episode, or have we said it all?
I think we've said it all and then some about this episode. I'm ready for Friday, so we can see what else they have in their bag of tricks.
Definitely looking forward to the next one. All right, so we are now ready for our last musical interlude. So we're going to play some more music. This is from a band called The Drowns. And this is from an album they released back in January called Under Tension. And this is actually the lead-off track of the album. It is called Black Lung.
Electric shock, morphine and mild narcotics, but I can't make it go away. It's burrowed deep inside my head, too far to ever forget it. I can feel it coursing through my veins. 'Cause I'm buried by regret of the things I can't forget, and I'm anchored to the thought of singing that same song. You're standing in that dirty dress, I can taste the new parts of your breath. Dead skin under your nails, your big expression tells the tale. Leave your keys by the door, 'cause I'm buried by regret of the things I can't forget, and I'm anchored to the thought of singing that same song. You'll always be my black love, reminding me where I went wrong. You're keeping me from moving on. You'll always be my black love. You're my black love. Regret of the things I can't forget, and I'm anchored to the thought of singing that same song. You'll always be my black love, reminding me where I went wrong. You're keeping me from moving on. You'll always be my black love. You're my black love. All right.
All right, that was the Seattle-based The Drowns with Black Lung. And we are now ready to do our top 5 list of the week.
I don't know. Are you?
I'm ready.
This one was tough for me.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. So this week we are doing the top 5 Imperial ground vehicles. So vehicles in Star Wars that are specifically Imperial and are operate on a terrestrial basis. So before we get into our list, we did have a couple of responses, or a few responses from you, our fans. On Facebook, Lyle said his favorite was the ATMP. I'm not really sure which one that was, to be honest.
That was the.
That was the little, like the little tank walker missile thing.
It's. I was thinking it was the one that was in Phantom Menace that did the battle droids. It's the multi-troop transport.
No, I don't think that's it. Hang on. Let's see if we can figure out what he is talking about. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's a picture of it for you.
Huh. Looks like something out of RoboCop.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So that was Lyle. Chris, also from Facebook, actually gave us a list. His number 5 is the ATST. His number 4 is the Juggernaut. Number 3 is the AT-AT. Number 2 is the TIE Crawler. Man, that should have been on my list. And it wasn't. And his number 1 was the Humble Dewback. I hadn't even thought to put that one on my list.
Me either. Yeah, me either.
And then over at on Twitter, our friends from WSTR Media said their favorite is the AT-AT. And then also from Twitter, one of our followers, Cami Soul, said their favorite was the speeder bike. So yeah, so good list from you folks, and always love hearing from you and getting feedback on our top 5 lists. So let's go ahead and start off with our top 5s. Go ahead and start us off.
All right. Mine is the armored assault tank. We see that in Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. It is just a short, stocky, little like hovercraft. It's powered by 4 battle droids. And it's a commander, a pilot, and 2 gunners. It's the one that has the big turret on top with a heavy laser cannon that just wreaked havoc on the Gungans. That's one of my favorite ones that we have. That's my number 5, armored assault tank, AAT.
Okay. So mine, trying to get some pictures up here to make this easier, and definitely should think about doing this in the future for both of our lists. My number 5 is the A9 turbo tank, and that is, let's see which one. This one right here. Big monstrosity that I believe the only place I remember seeing it was I think in Rogue One. Maybe it was Rogue One. Honestly, I don't remember where I saw it, but I had to look it up when I was doing this list, because I'm like, okay, I know it was a tank, but what was the name of it? And let's see. I'm trying to let me do some research here real quick. Yeah, it was in the. It was actually in the Rogue One graphic novel. So yeah, that was my number 5.
All right. So for my number 4, I went with something a little similar to yours. Your number 5 there is the Clone Turbo Tank, otherwise known as the Juggernaut. So this it was a massive tank. It could carry up to 300 clone troopers into battle. It was actually extremely fast for a tank. Went about 99 miles an hour. It had superconductive armor. It was operated by a crew of 12. And for its weaponry, it had a heavy laser turret, a repeating laser turret, and 2 anti-personnel laser cannons, and 2 projectile launchers as well. We've seen it here and there in different things. I believe it was originally in Empire, but most recently it was in Rogue One. It was the prisoner transport that was carrying Jyn.
That's right. And I've got a picture up here for you folks if you don't remember what it looks like.
That's a good look. That's a good looking tank, and it was fast.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. My number 4 was the designation was TX-224, and it was nicknamed the Occupier. It was another one of those huge tanks. I just love the color of it and the potential of destruction that this thing could cause.
Looks like something out of Warhammer.
Yeah, and it's some of these vehicles in the Empire are just they're just amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my number 3 is the all-terrain scout transport, the ATST, otherwise known as the Chicken Walker. We see it in Rogue One. There's a modified version of it in the Mandalorian, but mainly we see it there on Endor. And part of the the Ewoks. It's the one that Chewbacca and the Ewoks end up taking the jungle vine and landing on top of it. There we are.
Yep.
So yeah, that one was that's my number 3. Was a lot of fun. In fact. Oh, nope, I don't have that one. It was another one that I have. But yeah, that's it's pretty cool.
Well, strangely enough, that was my number 3 as well. The Chicken Walker.
I bet our last ones are probably identical.
Possibly. But yeah, the scout transport, I loved it from the first time I saw it in Empire. You have these huge monstrosity armored walkers, and then in the distance you see this little 2-legged thing scooting along the planet, and I thought it was great. And then Return of the Jedi, of course, we got to see them in all their glory. And then of course in the Mandalorian, yeah, this was a really really fun transport. I loved it. So number 2.
Yes, that brings us to number 2. My number 2 is the all-terrain armored transport, AT-AT.
Okay.
Now this behemoth we've seen in so many different movies, whether it's in Empire or Return of the Jedi. That's the one that brings Luke and Darth Vader to the shuttle on the forest moon. There's one in you see one in Rogue One. There's one that you see in The Force Awakens that has been downed, that Rey is living in. Of course, the Battlefront 2 game, it's in there as well. Last Jedi has one, and even the Mandalorian has a modified AT-AT that was the top was taken off and a crane was put onto it. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, that was not my number 2.
Oh wow.
My number 2 actually was the 74Z speeder bike. I designate a specific type because this is the one that I like. This is the one that you see in Return of the Jedi specifically. And we got to see it, also in The Mandalorian just a couple of episodes ago, actually, in the when they're on Navarro. And these speeder bikes are chasing the crew. But yeah, that was my number 2.
Wow. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, you took my number 1.
I kind of figured that was going to happen.
And I didn't designate a particular series of it. There are so many different types. The 74Z, which was in the original trilogy, we have a very similar looking one that you see in Phantom Menace that Darth Maul is using. We've seen it in The Mandalorian. When I first saw it in Return of the Jedi, I just thought that would be the coolest thing to be able to ride. And it's probably what started me on my motorcycle fascination as well. I loved seeing it. The way to just be able to zip through the trees like they did in Endor, it would just be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So that brings us to my number 1, and it doesn't really come as too much as of a surprise that our final 3 were the same, just in different orders. My number 1 is the AT-AT. This monster. How could you not love that thing? It's just so amazing.
Yeah. Just don't keep it away from snow speeders and you'll be all right.
Yeah, you're right. As long as you're not, as long as you don't have like Luke Skywalker and Rogue Squadron around. But yeah, the AT-ST is definitely an amazing Imperial vehicle. So that is it for our top 5 list of the week. We will, of course, be back with another one next week, and hopefully we will come up with a good one that people will be interested in. So that's just about it for us today. This is our first time trying the video route. Thought it went okay.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things here and there, but when you first try things out, you're always going to run into a little bit of technical difficulties. But hey, we learn, we grow, and I think that it was a great time doing it this way.
And hopefully next time around we can do it live and have some folks on the chat with us.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun. And but closing things out, did you have any podcast shout outs?
I do have one. This last week, WSTR, which is one of our fellow Red 5 podcasts, just celebrated their 200th episode. So just wanted to say again, congratulations to them. It's a big milestone. It's a great podcast. If you guys out there that are listening haven't checked out WSTR, then please do so. You won't be disappointed in the quality and the content that you get out of a Star Wars podcast.
Absolutely. A couple that I've got shout outs for, some new episodes that I just recently listened to. A shout out to the girls over at Force of Light Entertainment. Their most recent episode was a chapter 14 recap as we just finished. And then another chapter 14 recap was done by our friends over at Scarif Scuttlebutt. Another Red 5 family member. So, yeah, there's a lot of good podcasts out there. If you check out red5.com, you should see a lot of really good Star Wars and non-Star Wars podcasts out there. And they're all good, and they're all worth listening to. But that is it for us today. We are done. We've got episode 28 in the books here. And we are looking forward to doing this again next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye, folks.
Have a good one.